Are you looking for the next 100x cryptocurrency? I might just have what the doctor ordered. Today we're going to talk about a little known crypto project called Ergo. Ergo has a serious development team, some seriously cool technology, and it's been working to place itself in a position to see some big returns on investment over the next few years. Not to mention that the Ergo blockchain is truly exciting for adoption of cryptocurrency and the potential use for it in everyday life. So let's dive on in and see why I think Ergo has potential to be a top 10 cryptocurrency by market cap. So you might be asking yourself, what the heck is Ergo? Ergo is a 4th generation programmable blockchain that aims to be the go-to premier blockchain for financial transactions and the backbone for decentralized finance in the near future. The Ergo development team has been involved in the development of the first 3 generations of cryptocurrency, and as a result have learned some lessons from the failures and successes of these generations. They've incorporated these lessons into the development of the Ergo blockchain and have created some seriously cool tech that's highly transparent and very decentralized. As we'll discuss going through this video, this gives the project's native coin ERG top 10 cryptocurrency potential. Given the current market cap of ERG of around about 100 million, this would correlate to far more than a 20x opportunity, something like a 100x opportunity. However, let's temper our expectations. So some of the basic details of the Ergo blockchain. Ergo is a smart contract compatible blockchain that utilizes a proof of work consensus algorithm called Autolycus. Ergo's native coin is ERG, and there's a max supply of 97.8 million, of which 55 million have already been minted. The emission schedule for the ERG coin is very similar to Bitcoin's in that it is halving a repeated schedule, which ends in 2046. Although Ergo aims to be the backbone for decentralized finance, it's also maintained the flexibility to be the blockchain for many other types of crypto projects, such as metaverse and social networks. The current market cap of the Ergo blockchain is about $100 million. However, it's addressing an industry that's worth $100 trillion. So there's definitely room for growth going into the future. So now that the basics are out of the way, let's talk about some of the seriously cool technology that Ergo has developed that's going to separate it from other blockchains that have already been developed. The first piece of technology we're going to talk about is the Autolycus consensus algorithm. The Autolycus consensus algorithm is a novel proof-of-work consensus algorithm that was developed by the Ergo development team. The algorithm has been designed to provide the advantages of proof-of-work without the negative drawbacks of highly centralized proof-of-work consensus algorithms, such as those used by blockchain. The consensus algorithm is designed to be decentralized, secure, easy to access, and resistant to large mining operations. It achieves this by using memory-hard functions as opposed to simpler functions for calculations to show the proof of work. I won't get into the science of it too much here, but the crux of it is that to mine effectively and economically on the Ergo network, you need greater access to memory as opposed to just raw computing power like what ASICs provide. This facilitates the ability to potentially mine on CPUs, however it targets mostly GPUs and graphics cards. As the mining has been designed for graphics cards, it makes it far more accessible for the everyday person to mine on the Ergo blockchain as opposed to something like Bitcoin, where you have to basically have a multi-million-dollar mining operation to even have an economic chance of making money from the activity. So key takeaways for the consensus algorithm is that it's essentially designed for everyday people to be able to mine, not large-scale mining operations. This means there's far greater decentralization, and also people can access and gain ERG tokens without having to go through a centralized means such as a centralized exchange. Now going on to the next piece of really cool tech from the Ergo development team, Nepo Powers. Nepo Power is an algorithm for non-interactive proof of work. An easier, more digestible way to think about it is that it's a non-interactive proof of validation. That is to say, without having to interact with the blockchain, I can see proof of somebody validating the blockchain, making it far easier for me with, say, a mobile phone or even a smartwatch, hypothetically, to access and verify information on the blockchain without actually having to interact with it. This is another situation where it gets a bit technical, and I won't go through it on this video here, and we're going to focus on essentially the effects of the implementation of this technology. The first advantage that Nepo Powers provide is that it makes it far more accessible to people who don't have a lot of computing power to be able to access the Ergo blockchain. Without having to download the full blockchain like what you have to do on, say, for example, Ethereum, you can just download a piece of information that's 1 megabyte or potentially smaller to verify and sync up with the Ergo blockchain. So say for example, you're on your mobile phone, you need to sync up and verify what's happened on the Ergo blockchain. You would only need to download 1 megabyte or maybe less of data as opposed to the 1 terabyte of Ethereum. The second advantage of Nepo Powers is that this lightweight access to the Ergo blockchain will make things far easier for layer 2 solutions that build on top of Ergo, as they won't have to run their own full node to essentially sync up with the Ergo blockchain. They will only need to run that 1 megabyte or potentially less of data, reducing the computational cost. So Nepo Powers are a fairly new design concept that have been developed by Emergo, IOHK, Cardano, and the Ergo ecosystems. As a result of this, the full potential of Nepo Powers has not been realized, but they're essentially a truly powerful piece of technology that allows for lightweight interactions with the very heavy blockchains. The third piece of really cool technology that Ergo's implemented is the Extended Unspent Transaction Output Transaction Model, otherwise known as the EUTXO model. The EUTXO transaction model is far more friendly for adoption than the accounts-based model that is currently implemented on the biggest DeFi blockchain, Ethereum. The EUTXO transaction model means that the cost of transactions is only affected by the inputs and the complexity of the transaction itself, as opposed to other events happening on the blockchain, such as congestion. As a result, the EUTXO transaction model allows for accurate forecasting of cost off-chain before implementing the transaction, as opposed to, say, Ethereum, for example, where it's a guessing game on how much your transaction fees or gas fees will cost. Another byproduct of using the EUTXO transaction model means that if a transaction is submitted to the blockchain and fails for some reason, you won't be charged for it. Whereas on Ethereum, also, once a transaction has started, nothing can interfere with this script, unlike on the Ethereum blockchain, where transactions can fail mid-script running. The EUTXO transaction model also increases the integrity of the blockchain, as it's far less prone to errors and hackability. And the last piece of cool technology I will highlight in this video is the ErgoScript programming language. I won't go into it too much here, but some of the lessons that have been learned from the previous 3 generations, such as multi-sig wallets, ring wallets, and incorporating token mixes into the base layer blockchain, have been learned and implemented in this programming language. In other blockchains, all these capabilities have been added as a result of a nasty hard fork or have had to be developed as their own layer 2 solution, meaning that you have to trust your tokens on another blockchain as opposed to the native blockchain that it's already on. This language leaves the base layer capability of Ergo far beyond anything other blockchains have, and is also a very familiar language as it is based on Scala, a fairly common programming language, meaning that there is not that much of a learning curve for developers coming into the ecosystem. I haven't mentioned all the cool technology that Ergo is developing, but I think these are some of the big parts of technology that separate Ergo from the other blockchains, making it a 4th generation blockchain. And I would encourage people to go take a look at some of the other stuff they're developing. But it's the technologies like these and the foresight, planning, and implementation of previously learned lessons that make me think that Ergo is going to be a top 10 cryptocurrency. Not to mention the demand for Ergo is increasing, and the recognition of Ergo being a great blockchain is also increasing. Not to mention its bandwidth is something to take some serious note about, as it puts it up there in the top 5 processing speed blockchains. A big event that's going to affect the Ergo ecosystem in the near future is a Tier 1 exchange listing. Now, the Ergo development team has said that this is essentially in the bag, it's going to happen, it's just a matter of when, not if. As a result, we don't know which Tier 1 exchange they're talking about, but it's likely going to happen soon. One of the reasons a Tier 1 exchange listing is great for blockchains is that it's an indicator that it's not a scam blockchain. Although scam blockchains do go into centralized exchanges, it's one of the indicators that says this one's a bit more trustworthy than some obscure blockchain just in the DeFi space. But a Tier 1 listing will also attract external developers to bring more into the ecosystem, creating new projects, creating new use cases on the blockchain, creating more demand for the ERG token. Now, the Ergo Foundation have been really pursuing this since about the start of 2022. They've hired themselves marketing managers. They've started weekly dev updates and weekly Q&As with the founder of Ergo, Kushti himself. They've arranged for high volume liquidity with Chiron Labs. And overall, they've been developing the community out rather than focusing on actual technical development of the blockchain to really encourage a Tier 1 listing. Although in the short term with the current bull market, this exchange listing may not have a humongous effect on the price of ERG, over the medium to long term, this will be a very, very large impact event for Ergo. So one of the strongest aspects of Ergo, I believe, is the development team. It's an immensely capable team with people who have lots of experience in the blockchain space and credibility from very large-scale, legitimate projects. Let's start a discussion about this team by talking about the two co-founders of the Ergo project. The first co-founder is Dmitry Meshkov. He's a physicist from Russia that started the Ergo project with Kushti, but left soon after the project had launched. The other co-founder, who's the main driving force and lead developer of Ergo at the moment, is a person called Alexander Cherpanoy, otherwise known as Kushti. Kushti is a blockchain developer that's been in the space since 2011. You may have known one of his other big projects that he launched called Chainlink. He was one of the co-founders of that project. Not to mention though, he's also been involved in many other crypto projects and a big part of the IOHK research program for the Cardano ecosystem. Kushti graduated from the St. Petersburg National Research University. Unfortunately, I couldn't find in which field he graduated in. However, Kushti is well established in the academic space, as he was an academic researcher for IOHK and has produced quite a few academic papers. Something that really struck me as interesting about Kushti is the absolutely glowing recommendation that Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano and IOHK, gave him. Charles Hoskinson said that Kushti is the smartest person in the blockchain space. So Kushti is a pretty capable developer that has been involved with many projects that have made the top 10 cryptocurrencies. Let's talk about the next big member of the team, Dan Friedman. And when I say big, I mean big. Apparently he's like 6'8", 6'9". Dan Friedman is a big name in the crypto space, having been the business development manager for IOHK since 2016 and being involved in a lot of the technological developments and overall ecosystem development of Cardano. He essentially joined Cardano at the same stage as when he joined Ergo and built their ecosystem up to make them from a fairly obscure cryptocurrency to a top 10 cryptocurrency and keep them there. The knowledge, experience, and capability that Dan Friedman brings to the Ergo ecosystem will be crucial for the adoption of the Ergo ecosystem to the wider crypto community and eventually to society as a whole. Not to mention, Dan has announced that he's developing his own Layer 2 project on top of Ergo called Zengate. Zengate is the commercial arm of Ergo in Dan Friedman's words. He's developing this project to make it far easier for organizations to adopt blockchain technology and utilize blockchain technology in their everyday activities. However, this is a topic for another video. Essentially, Dan Friedman was one of the big players that took the Cardano ecosystem from a fairly obscure ecosystem to a top 10 cryptocurrency, and now he wants to do the same with Ergo. There are plenty of other significant team members I'd like to mention, but for the sake of time, I'm going to keep it to who I've mentioned already. Just know that the Ergo development team and Ergo Foundation is filled with capable people that are going to develop Ergo to be a fairly good cryptocurrency, in my humble opinion, a top 10 cryptocurrency. So now that we got through all the positives, let's talk about some of my potential concerns and what could be potentially negatives going forward for the Ergo ecosystem. One of my big concerns about the Ergo ecosystem is its marketing. When I first started looking into the Ergo project, it was very hard for me to get a clear idea of what made it separate to other cryptocurrencies and other smart blockchains such as Ethereum, Avalanche, Cardano, etc. Ergo's marketing is not very clear for those who are new to the blockchain space. And this might be a hangover from its developer-focused kind of approach that it's had up until the start of this year when it really started pushing for mass adoption. However, the marketing message is not very simple for those who don't develop software for a living. I know for me personally, and quite a few other people, that one of the indicators of a bad project that could potentially be a scam is when you can't clearly identify its use case quite quickly. So this might be a turn-off for a lot of people looking to invest in the Ergo ecosystem. The only reason I chose to ignore this potential indicator of a scam is because I was aware of the IOHK connection and who Dan Friedman was, and when he joined the project, it really validated the project in my mind and caused me to dig further. However, a lot of people might not have this background knowledge and might be best to try and simplify this message so that investors who aren't computer scientists can really understand what Ergo is. My other big concern is the crypto bear market that we're currently experiencing. Essentially, it's just about liquidity for me. Can the project last through a crypto winter / crypto bear market until the next bull run? and can't survive until there is organic demand for the blockchain as opposed to just speculative demand. Although the project seems to be in good shape, I can't be certain of how liquid it is and how it's going to live through a bear market or crypto winter, even though it's already gone through one. These concerns are relatively minor to me because they're both easily addressable. Marketing is a quick fix. All that takes is changing the marketing message, which can be done within a couple of hours. The bear market concern is not too much of a concern in my mind because Ergo was already launched in the previous crypto winter, survived through that, got through the bull run, and is in another crypto winter, and is now just seeing mass adoption and seems to be in a much better position than it was during the last crypto winter, which it already survived. So Ergo has great technology, a great development team, significant room to grow, and an overall strong offering. And we're already starting to see large-scale adoption of the Ergo blockchain and a developing, thriving ecosystem. All of these aspects lead me to think that Ergo is going to see significant growth, and in my humble opinion, makes it a top 10 cryptocurrency. So depending on when you buy and when you sell, this could be anywhere between a 20x and I think well beyond 100x. However, not financial advice. Don't over-allocate yourself to Ergo, but I think it's definitely worth a small allocation. Thanks for watching. Toodles!